Oh, Texas. Texas, Texas, Texas. I got this one brought up just recently, and I gotta give it to Texas. They're doing the best that they can. Other than it being just outrageously hot for too long, they are starting to feel like California with all the different people that are kind of influxing in these metro areas being so expensive. It's almost unrealistic to even purchase a house in places like Denver and Houston. So in today's video, we're going to be going over why more people are choosing to move to New Mexico and leaving Texas. So hang tight and get your pen and your pad because it's going to get interesting. So let's go. And man, I gotta give it to Texas. Texas has a lot to offer, and if you are planning on staying there, kudos to you guys, but we're not talking to you, right? You Longhorn, Raven, Dallas Cowboy talking, all those people that are planning on staying in Texas. Good for you, but I'm talking to the people that are deciding to move to New Mexico. And if you are thinking about moving to New Mexico, you're in some luck because I am a licensed broker here in the state of Albuquerque. You're in the state of Albuquerque. You're here in the state of New Mexico. So if there's anything I could ever do for you guys, you have any questions, or you're just thinking about what areas you're wanting moving to based off of affordability, that number popping up on the screen is my direct line. Me and my team would love to hop on a quick call with you guys to go over all that to make sure you're making the right decision before you head down to Albuquerque. But enough about me. Let's head into today's video. I gotta tell you, for me, man, what I hear about Texas is just brutal. And jumping right into the topic of conversation, the elephant in the room is their weather.
The weather outside is weather.
The weather in Texas is just horrendous from what I hear. I think Houston this past year got over 45 days of 100-degree weather. Like, that is more than a month and a half and way too long. In Albuquerque, the longest span of 100 days that we ever got was 9 days in a year. And that was back in the 90s. So you can tell there's a big difference, and it's really due to our climate. It's a desert mountain kind of combination, so it's warm during the day, colder temps at night. And I'm not saying that it doesn't get hot here, because it does get hot and it does get cold, but it's not going to be extremes on either side of the fence. So that's a whole lot of reason for somebody to pick up and move, just because the weather's better. And we also get 300 plus sunny days, and it's not humid here. It's a little dry, so you may need a humidifier. Now, who doesn't enjoy a long drive, getting lost in the music like I do? I'm a car guy, so anytime that I get a chance to drive, I usually take the long way around, and I'm usually driving Miss Daisy according to my wife.
You all right?
You might want to keep your eyes on the road, Playboy.
If you ever get in that car with me, expect us to take the long way there, because I do enjoy my drive. And people of Houston and Dallas and pretty much anywhere in Texas are getting tired of that, and that's why they're moving here, because the average time to work here in Albuquerque is less than 30 minutes. On the contrary, Dallas and Houston, the average travel time, according to the internet, is about an hour. So that's more of a reason for people to move down here, because they're spending a lot less time behind the wheel, especially as busy as everyone is nowadays. They want to make sure that their highest and best use of their time is better spent somewhere else than driving. For me, I can't even put myself in that equation, because I'm the total polar opposite. I'm sure that if I lived in either Houston or Dallas, I would enjoy that commute. I probably would even make it a routine thing to, get my day started that way. Like, hey, what podcast or what audiobook are we going to listen to on the drive? That way we can make sure that we're making effective use of our time. If you're not like that, you're just super chill and you just want to lay back, put on a good song and just drive, I respect that too, and Albuquerque is going to allow you to do that, even still within the 30 minutes. But hey, if you don't like driving, this is something you might want to think about. And if you don't want to drive a whole lot and you want to move to somewhere where it's a little bit more slower down, kind of a realistic pace, again, guys, that number popping up on the screen is my direct line. And feel free to reach out. I am the one that answers all the calls, texts, and emails. So if you are looking to move to Albuquerque here in the near future, me and my team would love to hop on that quick call with you guys to make sure you're making the right decisions. But enough of me blabbering off. Let's get right back into why you should probably move to Albuquerque. So let's go. Oh, good old Uncle Sam gotta come and collect, and that's one other reason more people are choosing to move to Albuquerque versus places like Dallas and Houston and all these other places in Texas, because according to WalletHub.com, Texas is the 46th state over 50 states, and that's pretty high ranking with one of the highest tax rate. If you are talking about where New Mexico sits, we sit at 18th. And when you look at the percentages, it's not going to be a whole heck of a difference, but really depending on what you're purchasing, where you're living, and kind of those different areas and those different little minute details, those things will actually add up, and they will add up quick. I mean, I'm talking hundreds of dollars in difference, where in a world where everything is getting more expensive, do you really want to spend any more money on taxes? Pretty quiet out here, isn't it? Right? As I've been doing this video, I can hear birds chirping, the neighbors working in their yard, people driving, on the freeway, which is about a mile or two away. You get the perspective that Albuquerque is not that populated. When you're talking about places like Dallas and Houston, you're talking about these metro areas have over 1 million people. Albuquerque has half of that. We have over 500,000 people that live here in Albuquerque alone, and places like Rio Rancho have just a shy over 100,000. What does that mean? It means like when people go on holidays or on vacations out of town, and that's how small we are, we still call it town. When people go out of town, you really feel it when you're driving, especially in the mornings, because there's less traffic, less people at the drive-thru. There's a lot less things going on as far as like people playing outside, especially since it is colder. The kiddos are staying inside a lot more and playing Fortnite. I know we are, because in the shade, I can tell you guys, my hands are hurting, blistering cold. And then when that little gust of wind comes through, it's cold. But in the sun, it's perfect. It's nice and warm. I'm out here in this little nice, thin thermal, and we're gonna warm up pecs because I can cut glass. But anyways, guys, just to give you guys a perspective of what to expect, because we're not super overpopulated, you are going to still get a chance to breathe, and everything is far spread out that even though it is shorter travel times, it's still going to feel like, I don't know, a little bit of a journey to kind of escape sometimes. Take it for what it is. You do want to live, where there's a bunch of people and a bunch of things to do. Albuquerque might not be the best fit for you, but on the opposite, that's why a whole lot of people are moving here, to get away from the noise. If you start looking at some of these metro areas in Texas, you're going to see that the home prices are just a little bit ridiculous. It's starting to look and feel a lot more like California, because the average price home in these metro areas like Dallas and Houston is around $450,000. Now, I may be a little bit wrong. Some of the data on Zillow and Realtor.com is kind of all over the place, but putting it all together, this is the best number that I can give you guys. I do know a couple of agents that way, so if you are wanting a little bit more of a true number, again, that number popping up on the screen is my direct line. Shoot me a text. That way I can connect you with somebody down there to make it easier for you guys to make that decision. But in New Mexico or in Albuquerque, we're $100,000 less than that $450,000. We're sitting at $353,000, or just a little bit over that right now. It's kind of realistic living in the metro area, even living in kind of one of these suburbs like in the Northwest, the Southwest Heights. You are still going to be paying around that, sometimes even less if you get lucky enough. But just keep in mind that the house may be older. Now, where we lack is we're not super up to speed like Dallas. We don't got all this infrastructure and all this going on. We are kind of behind the times, which is the way we like it. We like to be a little bit slowed down, and where we make up for it is in our culture, our diversity, because we're less driven by status and we're more driven to welcoming people and making sure that everybody feels at home, right? Mi casa, su casa, super big here, and it's literally pretty much posted in everybody's kitchen or living room, just like they got the Last Supper up there. We really pride ourselves on relationships and people, making sure that everybody that comes here, that wants to move here, feels welcome and feels like they're part of our family. All right, now you may not think that Albuquerque is progressive in its job market. We are thriving, not as much as some of these other cities, but we are thriving. And when you have less than, 500,000 people competing for these higher paying jobs, there's going to be more opportunity there for you guys. And there's, going to be a contrast to where Dallas and Houston having over 1 million people competing all for the same jobs, it's going to be such a tough market, such a tough, place to get into, especially if you are looking for those white collar jobs. Here, New Mexicans were super heavy on labor work. I don't know why, but we like to work with our hands and we like to get dirty. So the trades here provides a ton of opportunity for people, even self-employment for people as well. You're talking about, all these new communities that they're building, all these old buildings that they're renovating, or when investors go and purchase all these old homes that have been in the family for generations, because that's starting to be a big popular thing, right? A lot of those older generations are passing on their houses to the younger generations, and those younger generations already have a home, so they're selling it for profit, hiring a contractor, or just selling it outright, and those investors are coming in and creating these beautiful homes and opportunities for people to come in and purchase an affordable, nice home. Now, outside of that, guys, there is going to be a plethora of other opportunities, whether you're looking to make your own business, whether you're planning on going to be a contractor, a licensed plumber, a welder, or whatever it is. There is going to be something here for you guys. And I mean, I would even pay the kids in the neighborhood to come and pull my weeds, right? That's an opportunity. Okay, guys, we have come to the end, and it is cold out here. I'm gonna get my butt back inside, but just to touch on a few things, we talked about our climate, why more people are moving down here because they are not enjoying the longer commutes, and it's more affordable here in a sense to live and play in Albuquerque or New Mexico in general for people who are moving from places like Texas. Nothing wrong, nothing bad about Texas. We love our neighboring state. They have a ton to offer. We're just a little bit different, and we offer something to that person who's looking to think outside of the box. But other than that, guys, I appreciate you hanging tight. Remember that number popping up on the screen is my direct line. And as much as I love doing this, me and my team will love to help you out with your real estate needs. But other than that, I'm going to go get warm. You guys have yourself a good weekend. Peace.